Guys, it is time to once again bring to you one of my favorite videos that I get to do every month, the Blu-ray Haul. This time we got 7 new titles entering the collection with 6 brand new releases, and I will leave links to more in-depth reviews on all those titles down in the description box below. If you guys love discussing all things in physical media and all good things in movies and entertainment for that matter, then what the heck are you waiting for? This channel is the place to be, especially with as busy of a summer season as we're getting here. So do become a subscriber today, and please tap on that like button as well. Really helps with the algorithm and helps get this content out there to more lovely viewers like you. You guys have been killing it lately. Keep it up. But these are in no particular order. We got 7 titles, but I'm actually going to go with the old school title first. This is a KL Studio Classics release. It's a first time release on Blu-ray. Very excited to own this and have it in the collection finally. It's The Longest Yard. This is the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds in the main role instead of as a side character in the Adam Sandler remake. This is, a lot of people consider this one of the greatest football movies ever made, and this was nominated for Best Picture back in 1974, so it's kind of hard to argue with that point. Burt Reynolds was just so damn cool, especially in this movie. Really exciting opening car chase sequence, and you have some funny moments when he's actually locked up inside the prison. And actually, a bit of a funny story, but because of this movie, I called my fantasy football team growing up the Mean Machine, because I thought that name was just so freaking cool, and their color scheme and everything. The Longest Yard, it's a really good watch. If you haven't seen it in a while, or if you've never seen it before, highly recommend it. Dare I say it's one of Burt Reynolds' best performances of his career. And now we get into the new releases, with a very surprisingly good January release, Missing, the spiritual sequel to Searching, which honestly, the more and more I sit here and think about it, Searching, I think, is absolutely the stronger movie. And this is not biased as someone coming from the Bay Area or anything like that. Missing here, I thought, was a really solid sequel with a great leading turn from Storm Reed. I just don't think the ending of Missing really matched up to par with how satisfying Searching turned out. I think for my liking, it went on a little bit too long, but for what it was, Missing is really solid. Speaking of solid, Knock at the Cabin. My word, this is just M. Night Shyamalan's best movie since Signs. And especially after going to the theater and sitting through this twice through, it's just so freaking good. Shyamalan, if you give him the right scripts and the right circumstances and the right idea and enough money, he can turn in some golden pieces like this one. Yeah, I realize a lot of people might complain that the plot twist was very predictable if you look at the trailer, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and everything. But if you look at the craftsmanship that went into Knock at the Cabin, it's just so freaking awesome. Dave Bautista turns in the best work of his career. Rupert Grint turns in his best performance in a while. Jonathan Groff in here. I mean, this cast, top-notch. Speaking of top-notch casts, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I really hope that this movie makes enough money to warrant a sequel, because there is so much more to explore. But alas, I don't know if Paramount will look at the box office returns to think that it's worth it, but I would love to see more out of these characters. Loved Chris Pine, even though he's very comparable to Star-Lord in his approach. Michelle Rodriguez is absolutely a badass. Very fun character from Sophia Lillis. Justice Smith is really good in this movie. And I really appreciate the practical effects and the hard work and the passion that went into D&D. The way the script was written and the understanding of the source material really made you feel like these screenwriters and these directors were passionate about the source. I would love to see more out of this universe, and honestly, it's a darn shame if we don't. This movie should have made so much more money at the box office. This should have been a gigantic smash hit. But alas, it wasn't, because the next week came the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which still holds the title of the highest grossing movie of 2023 so far. But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend it as well. Next up, oh man, I picked up Shazam II, sponsored by Skittles. I wish I was kidding. But yeah, this has the most blatant product placement of any movie I've seen in a long time. You have a cameo in here that is incredibly forced and just feels so out of place. But I love the villainous characters. I love Lucy Liu in this movie, Helen Mirren. Legend. Absolute legend. Says a lot that Helen Mirren looks at Shazam as a property and says, that's the superhero I want to attach myself to. I thought Zachary Levi was very likable in this movie as well. Rachel Zegler. Great actress. Fun enough for what it was, but I think it kind of fell apart towards the end once again. I'll go with this one next, seeing as how we're on the superhero hype train. I picked up Quantumania on 4K. Did not pick up the Steelbook version because I have both normal versions of Ant-Man preceding it. So my OCD, just looking at it on my shelf, it's like, why do I have one Steelbook in this series and two normal ones? And the more and more I think about it, I don't know if Quantumania really deserves me shelling out those couple extra bucks for the Steelbook. This movie, I feel like, was a tale of two halves. Because you have the second half with your villain, whose name I can't really say anymore because that guy's in a load of trouble now. But that stuff was really interesting. And then there's certain things about this movie, like Cassie Lang having powers, and we just suddenly have to accept it. There's something missing there. There's a story element that really just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I'm supposed to accept that Cassie has powers, but you never show me how she got the powers. I don't know. For what it was, I thought it was a solid entry into the multiverse saga. It's a good introduction to Phase 5. Nowhere near the quality of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like, my God, like, those two cannot be compared. But for what it was, you know, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst that MCU has done. Last but not least is a movie I could not wait to add into the collection, Creed 3 on 4K. Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. And man, this is such an impressive outing for him. Because not only does he turn in an excellent performance like we're used to in front of the camera, but he has so much finesse behind the camera. And the fact that he approaches all these boxing scenes, especially towards the climax, like a big gigantic anime, it's unlike anything you've ever seen in a Rocky/Creed movie up to this point. And I know a lot of people are still butthurt that Rocky Balboa is not in this movie, but at this point, yeah, there's a couple of scenes where you could have needed him, but this is very much Donnie's story as it was always intended to be. Really great movie and still one of my favorite movies of the year so far. Can't wait to revisit it over and over. But those are my pickups for the month of May 2023. That's how each title will look on your shelf for you if you want to pause it. Thank you so much again for coming by and supporting the channel. One more reminder, do consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that like on your way out. Busy month of June ahead of us with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm actually going to see that movie in about an hour at the time of recording. But June is loaded, guys. We have The Flash. We have a new Pixar entry here. We have Dial of Destiny. Which reminds me, stay tuned for my last two Indiana Jones reviews in the build-up to Dial of Destiny. It's going to be a fun month of June, guys. I can't wait to discuss all these new topics in movies and entertainment with you guys and so much more. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you guys can come along for the ride. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence!